Hello everyone, how are you doing? It's been a long time since I filmed a video. My last video was actually my reaction to the November 2025 SAT, even before the result came out. And well, it's been 6 months and a lot has happened since then. I've taken more exams, I've done more studying, more practice, different external exams, and I'm going to be discussing every single one of them with you. Starting off with the November SAT result. Well, basically, I got a 1370 on my very first trial. It's not that bad. I got a 700 on the English section and a 670 on the math section. I could have done better, but you know what? I thought I can definitely do better. So I decided to do the March SAT, which I will get to in a moment. Between that time frame, though, I studied for the TOEFL. The TOEFL is, of course, many people know it. It is a English proficiency exam, which people do to be able to, study outside of like the country or even inside, which is for my case here. I'm going to be studying inside the country, and I did the TOEFL. Well, I got a 98 out of 120 based on the old system because I did it on December 14th, and now it's out of a 6 system, I'm pretty sure. Which is different, it's new, yeah, but it's still like convertible to the 120 point scale up to a certain period of time. You can find out more intel about that by looking on the website, but that's not very relevant really. But I did get a 98 out of 120, but to be honest, I did not prepare for that exam. I didn't study that much, and I think I did pretty well. I think I did decent. I could have definitely studied a bit and gotten a higher mark. I got a 23 on the listening, 23 on the speaking, 26 on the reading, and 26 on the writing, which is not bad, I would say. It's not a bad mark. It's in the 86th percentile. It was a decent examination and a good result. Well, after that came the March SAT. And the March SAT took so much practice. I studied for like 3 months straight for the SAT. It was an exam that I wanted to get over a 1400 on, and I think I should have gotten a higher mark based on the amount of preparation that I had done for the exam, but I did end up with a 1410, which is in the 93rd, 94th percentile, but percentiles don't really matter. It was a number that I had to get above, and a 1410 was enough for me. That was a decent mark. I am satisfied with the result. I got a 710 on the math and a 720 on the math and a 690 on the English, which led to that result, which I will be submitting, of course. I'm not going to submit the 1370, even though I would get a 1420 super score because I got a 700 on the English. It's fine. We'll take the L. Anyways, well, I've been studying since the beginning of the year for 2 APs, which I finished. And wait, isn't the date of filming this, the 9th of May? How'd you finish APs already? Well, my APs were on the first 2 days, and I finished. So I'm gonna also talk about my reaction to the AP. Starting off with microeconomics, the first question was about scarcity. I mean, for all micro students, you will know what I'm talking about. Scarcity, easiest concept ever. So I'm like, is the exam trying to bait me here? Are they just gonna give me easy questions for the MCQ and then give me really difficult ones on the FRQ? And well, no, they didn't do that. They gave me mediocre questions on the MCQ and very easy questions on the FRQ. I just did a very small mistake in the FRQ. They were asking a monopsonist, I think, what market structure they're in, and I thought about the economy systems, so I said a free market, which in microeconomics terms, you're dumb. So I did a very stupid mistake there, but I still think I would have gotten a 5, if not a 5, a 4 for sure. It was very easy, and I think I shouldn't have studied 8 months for the exam, but I guess it's better to be more secure about the result than to just fail, you know? And of course, the biggest challenge was the chemistry. That was an AP that was super physically demanding. It's considered the hardest AP by some students. Other students consider physics the hardest one. I think it's chemistry personally. one of the most physically demanding APs that you could possibly take takes so much practice, so much understanding, and so much work, so many questions that you have to do, looking into past papers to just have a satisfying result, maybe a 4. You need months of practice. Some people, you know what, they're really good crammers and they get a 4 by studying for a day or two. I'm not that type of person. I like to take my time, spaced repetition, Feynman technique, blurting. I just do methods that allow me to study and study effectively, really. I don't want to pressure myself. Like even the 3 days before the AP, I completely took a break, just cleared my mind from the like pressure of the exam, and just, you know, just like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I've studied for so long, I should get rewarded with a great result. For chemistry, it's really iffy, but the iffiness is whether it's a 4 or a 5, because no way I got below a 4. The questions were so much easier than I expected them to be, especially the multiple choice. The multiple choice, things came really straightforward, really direct. I felt very comfortable during the exam. And the FRQs, you could say, like, mainly you got the questions right, you know? Like, just you walk into the exam, you look at the like options for the MCQs, like, okay, this makes sense, just choose that one, that's right for sure. Somewhere a bit but like 5 questions maybe out of the 60. For the FRQs, you understood everything. I also made a very dumb mistake on the FRQ. It asked for the electron configuration of an element. I'm not going to discuss that. Maybe a college board sees this and says, oh, I'm coming for you. So yeah, I won't be doing that, but it was very stupid of me to get that wrong. But I would say everything else was pretty solid. I mean, there were 2 virgins for the exam, and I unfortunately was answering on the wrong virgin. I realized that I was like solving on the wrong virgin, and I just X'd out everything, and then I switched to the other virgin. I hope I don't lose points from that, and that's all I can really hope for that part of the exam. It was a very solid run, to be honest. I did hear some stuff like, oh no, the curve's gonna be really high because that was such an easy exam. I don't think so. I saw many of the US students that were like talking about the exam, like it was very difficult. There was questions that weren't really understandable, and I think we had pretty similar questions. I am international, by the way, but it felt very comfortable. You know, I would say I felt really comfortable doing the exam, and I felt like I was able to solve most of the questions correctly. So I really hope that it's a 5 for both, because that's really a big push for the next step, which is, you know, university. And just feels crazy. Like I feel super old and super young at the same time. So I'm just like really happy to finish high school, but I'm really scared of going to university. And really, the best is yet to come, hopefully. It was a great journey, I would say, through high school, specifically. Middle school doesn't really matter, it's fine. But high school, really, in general, did externals, did well in school, just had to lock in these 3 years and, you know, sometimes restrict myself from going out at times, restrict myself from doing the fun stuff that everybody wants to do in high school. And I think it was worth it in the end. It definitely gave me a push. And, you know, it probably gave me the resilience to actually deal with condensed material, like basically studying for longer periods of time on average, because I'm going into a field that's very demanding for that stuff. Like you really need to have your work ethic in, you need to study and really do well. You need to be an academically very like drained. You can be a drained human being and just you drain all of your energy into academics for the field. So I would say that definitely helped me like get that ethic of just work. Some people see that as a negative thing, and I might agree with them, but also it definitely helps in terms of your future. Like I'd say, if you don't have the ethic, you don't have the drive, you're not gonna do well. You are not going to do well unless you like put some work. You gotta do the work. Some people didn't do the work and they're gonna pay for the consequences later. But if you are a person that might not have scored exceptionally high, but you did a lot of work, you put some really good effort into the thing that you're doing, it should work out for you. You have the ethic, you have the motivation, you have the drive. In university, you should be a top student. I mean, I'm just speaking out as like as a senior. Some people aren't even there yet. Some people are grade 11. They're doing their APs, they're doing their SATs, they're doing their TOEFL, they're doing their IELTS. That's completely fine. I mean, I've done all that now, and I wish the next generation luck, and I envy the generation that's older because they've got it right. Honestly, to be fair, I've went to the university that I want to be attending. I've seen the drive of the students there. They're very dedicated. They put so much time and effort into their studies. They completely deserve the marks that they're getting. They're like scoring really high, even in university, getting high GPAs, and that helps them throughout the course of university, finishing earlier, for example, on an advanced track. And yeah, that stuff really is important. So that's really all. And I hope you enjoyed or even learned something from this. Somebody that hasn't done APs yet, or somebody that hasn't done their SATs yet. I've discussed 3 different exams: TOEFL, SAT, and AP. That's what I've done. I mean, most people might not have to go through all that. Some people just do IGs. Some people don't even do externals because the country gives them a track to just work on without having to do any externals. But yeah, that was the case for me, and I hope all is well. I hope all works out. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching.